Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslak talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3, and in this particular video, I'm going to talk to you about unoriginal research ideas and what do you do when you actually discover your research has been done before by somebody else. So if you don't know me, I'm an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There are so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor forward and help you out as much as I possibly can. All right, so I used to worry a lot when I started my research career in terms of when I was actually doing some research in a particular area that I would discover that somebody else has done the same thing that I've done. And you often hear about twin discoveries within research where somebody has discovered something over here, and within a matter of a day or two, somebody else has discovered something over there, and they're the same thing, and then one person doesn't get credit for it, or maybe both people get credit for it. Totally normal within the research domain. And I want you to think about this in terms of what is going on and why it's actually sometimes an opportunity for you to know that somebody else is doing some research in the area that is very similar to what you're doing. And so when I used to go through this and I would discover, so I'd go through the research, read up on everything that's out there. I'd spend, maybe it's 4 months reading up on something. And then I discover after those 4 months that somebody has done something that was so similar to what I'm doing. I used to feel like really anxious. I used to feel, sometimes I feel jealousy. Sometimes I feel just kind of like depressed. I've worked and I've done all this work and it just doesn't work out. I just feel really dumpy. And even today, I feel dumpy when I discover those particular things. I try to actually think about what is going on. And I've come to realize, even though I feel those like kind of dumpy emotions, within a day or two, I come to realize that this is actually a really wonderful opportunity for you as a researcher. And this is what I'm going to talk about here, is that when you discover that somebody else has done something that's similar to what you're doing, that's amazing. That means a lot of different things. So the first thing is that means that you are probably at the beginning of your research journey. All of the research that you're ever going to do is going to be 80% kind of repeating what other people have done in the past. 20% of the paper, maybe if you're really novel, 40% of the paper is going to be new and different. But everything else is going to be built on what other people are doing. So expect the fact that you're going to find articles that are very similar to what you're doing. That's wonderful. That means that you're on the right track. And that is the second thing I want to point out is that, if you find that and you discover that somebody else has done articles that are very similar to what you're doing and done a similar study, it just means that there's considerable opportunities for growth in that particular field. It means that it's an active field, that people are doing similar things. And that can really help you out, right? So if you go in a particular research domain and you don't discover anything that anybody else has done, then you're like, I wouldn't. That's probably not the best field to go into because it's not active, and it's not really a good signal that the market is not constantly changing, right? So we can think of academia and the sort of publications as a market. It just means it's not active, and you're going to be going up an uphill battle. If you can't find other people that are doing similar things as you. And as you realize this, you often discover that those people are going to help you out in many different ways, right? So science is kind of like this frenemy thing, right? It's kind of like co-opetition is the sort of technical term, where you have people that are competing against each other, but then they cooperate in a number of different ways, right? So you can actually ask them if they've done something similar to what you've done. You can sort of get some hints from them and go talk to them. And often, people are really good with this kind of stuff. You hear of in science that people are not so good with this kind of stuff, but most people are. They're going to help you out in different dimensions. And the reason why you want people to help you out is because you get cited. And being cited is the way that we get currency in this market, right? So you actually want to do that. It's like it's like the business world, right? The way that you actually make money in business is you help people out. It has nothing to do with like trying to scam people and all that kind of stuff. You're going to do that. It's not going to work out for you in the long run. So the other thing is that this is a signal. So the third thing is that this is a signal that you should continue with this research, right? So you likely are going to find something that's different than what other people are doing. Why is that, right? So the reason is you're probably going to use some slightly different way, or you're going to use maybe a slightly different context. So if it's social sciences, golly, if this research was done that you found was done 10 years ago and you do it now, a lot has changed, right? Or even if it was before, 2008, golly, all sorts of stuff has changed since 2008, right? The financial crisis, the economy is totally different. All sorts of stuff has changed since then. And you should embrace that, right? As that is a really cool to think about, a really cool thing to think about. And you should add on what they're actually doing. That's how science actually works. The next thing is that you can carve out a different angle than what they are doing. So you discovered what they're doing, and this is how what you should be doing, right? So you position relative to that article, right? So you use a slightly different theoretical lens. Maybe you use maybe some moderators, for example, so different variables that sort of look at contextual conditions. That's what a moderator is. You look at just kind of different things and you position relative to what they have done. And that's the fifth thing that I want to point out is, that article that was published in the research, it doesn't mean it's right. Most articles are not right in a lot of different ways, right? Every article, all of my stuff, you can look at it, you can read it, and you'll find out that, golly, why did he do this? Why is it that they did that? It doesn't really makes sense in this particular way. The reason is, there's two reasons why that is. The first thing is I probably thought about it, and then I was thinking about sort of how to frame it in the article or going in a particular dimension. The second thing is I probably didn't think about it, and you're smart. And if you have many eyes at something, so there's this kind of old adage within software programming, is if you have enough eyes, you're going to find the bug. And, if you have enough people looking at your research, somebody is going to find something that is like, golly, that didn't make any sense. We should probably do it in this particular way. We're going to cite his research or her research and build on what they're doing and maybe come up with a slightly different way that is going to be a little better or a lot better than what they did, right? So that's what you should be thinking about. And this is the sixth thing, is that to get a scientific research journal published, you need to have reviewers of people that are in that particular domain. And so if you find somebody who's done something that's very similar to what you did, that's awesome, because they are going to be your reviewers and they're going to help you out along the way, right? So every single scientific article is not a solo endeavor. It's not just like somebody wrote an article. That's not how it works. You send it to different reviewers who don't know who you are. You don't know who they are. And it's likely the best people in the field, and it's likely going to be the people that you cite all the time. And so if you're citing those people all the time, they're probably not going to know who you are, but you can sort of play up and understand what they've done. They're going to give you really good feedback, and they're going to tell you all sorts of sort of flaws or different things, or maybe if you completely contradict them, they're going to say you're wrong. All sorts of information and all sorts of stuff that you can sort of feed on and build on that you wouldn't have been able to do before because you have that set of reviewers. And that's really incredibly important. That's golden to have that, to have somebody that's guiding you through the path. Because there's so many pitfalls that you can go through. Trust me, doing science is not like, I'm just executing this, right? So that's the fundamental problem I have with a lot of hypothesis testing and things like where you pre-specify things as much as you possibly can. And a lot of people are going to say this. It's not novel in any sort of way, but that are kind of doing empirical work. Is like when you actually get there and you look at the data and you start doing things and you look at the context, you're like, crap. I never thought about that. It is going to be completely different, and I'm going to have to go in these different directions. And I never would have thought about that in any sort of way. And that's where reviewers, they get you to think about some really cool things. And if you can get a good set of reviewers that have done the same thing as what you've done in the past, so you're basically replicating what they've done, and you go in a slightly different direction, man, it's gonna be golden, because they're gonna tell you how to actually do this and really help you out in different ways that you would never have thought about. So don't worry about unoriginal research ideas in any sort of way. It is a lot of positioning. It's a lot of like really thinking about what you're actually doing. Look at that and look at that sort of group of people that is doing similar research as you as kind of mentors, and they can help you out in a different dimension, right? So that's what you're looking at. Is that sometimes those people are going to be really good mentors, sometimes not. You really just don't know who people are going to be until you actually ask them. 50% of the people are going to turn you down and kind of be not so nice. 50% are going to be nice and help you out. And so, like that's what you have to look for, right? So as soon as you find somebody else has done something that's similar as you, it's golden. Just keep doing the thing that you're doing, position against the research, really use that as like the centerpiece of sort of what you're actually doing, build on what they're doing. And it's really golden. This is a good sign. You're actually doing the right things at this moment. So again, all research is built on top of what other people have done. And if you haven't found that, it probably means that you're probably not, you're going in a kind of a wonky way. So just be a little skeptical with if you don't discover if somebody else has done something that's very similar to what you've done. So hopefully you like this video. Give me a thumbs up. If you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.